Hey guys, welcome to Budget Survivalist. Okay, I did a video the other day showing you guys how to put together a tent with ropes and a tarp. So some of you said I was going a little bit too fast while I was making my knots. I'm gonna show you guys a little bit closer up, slow down a little bit. That way maybe you'll be able to see what I'm doing and be able to perform these knots on your own. You're gonna find a good solid tree to tie off to, okay? You'll take your rope, you're gonna go around. You're gonna get about 12 to 18 inches. Now, you're gonna make your loops. One loop, two loops. Okay, you got that in your hand. Come around the tree, take the rest of your line. You're gonna include that in your hand. Okay, so you got your two loops plus the rest of your rope in your hand. You're gonna take your tail, okay? You're gonna go under all three strands one time, around. You're gonna go back under again, two times. Now, you're gonna hold your tail, right? Take your hand out, grab your rope, pull it all good and tight. It's all gonna come out tight. And there's your knot. You're gonna find your second tree. Make sure it's far enough away from the other tree as your tarp is long. Okay, that's the only requirement you need for that. You're gonna come around. Now somewhere in the middle of this line, anywhere is fine, just not too close. You wanna have enough to be able to pull it tight. So I'm gonna come out here, that's probably 2.5 feet. You're gonna make a basic loop. Around, back through. Okay, basic loop. Come around your tree. Right as soon as you come off the tree, you go ahead, make another loop. Around. So you can go around, back through. There you go. So this is the length that you can pull tight. We already got it fairly tight. So what we're gonna do, you're gonna go through this first loop. Pull all your excess rope through. Okay, through your first loop. You're gonna go through your second loop. Pull all of the excess rope through. Okay. Now, back through your first loop again. Pull all of your excess rope through. Now, you can start tightening your rope. Pull it through as you see it. It gets tighter the more you pull. And we're good and tight. Now, to secure it, come back through, back in here somewhere behind your first loop knot. You'll just go around, back through, okay? Kind of like a loop. You'll grab your loop, pull it tight, okay? Take your loop back through the rope, under, pull it tight. You're ready to set your tent up. Excess rope can be used. You can cut it to tie down the corners of your tarp. If it happens to be not all the way on the ground, you can use it to go through the loops and use your tent stakes to tie it to the ground so it doesn't wobble and shake in the wind. And there you go. Where we need to go when we bug out. So we've got our bags packed, ready to go, 2 or 3 days worth of supplies. But where do you go? So hopefully I'll be able to help you guys understand kind of where to go in which situation. This is all going to be extremely personal, depending upon where you live, what type of situation it is. But I'm going to go through and give you some general guidelines. Maybe it'll be able to help you out if it ever happens. First thing you need to do, I've got a list, by the way. I'll be looking down, trying to read through my list here so I don't forget anything. You need to gauge the threat to you or your family. So how severe is the situation? Is it a natural disaster? Is it fire, flood, tornado, earthquake? Hurricane's a little bit different because you just kind of got to get out of the way of those things. Unless you live in Florida, you guys are built different down there, so this may not pertain to you. If it's natural, you probably just want to, if the roads are clear, you can get out. They'll have the Red Cross and FEMA stuff set up. Bring your bug out bag anyway, because it may take them a few days to get you supplies down there. You might have an actual cot to sit in or lay down on, but you still might need 2 or 3 days worth of that food that you got in that bag. That's going to help you out quite a bit. If the roads are kind of weird, unsafe to drive on after, say, a tornado, you're blocked in, even hurricane, any of this stuff, flood, the roads are washed out, you can't go anywhere. As long as your house, you feel safe inside of your house, get your go bags, because you never know about the electricity. It could go out at any time. Have them sitting with you. Just hang out, huddle together, and try to ride it out for a couple of days and wait on help. If the threat is not natural, civil unrest, we've seen it in the news before. The first sign that you're going to get is probably you're going to start seeing it on your phones, if you're watching the news. If the problems are where you're at and you feel threatened by what's going on, you're reading your phone, you're like, man, that's just 2 neighborhoods over, or it's right at the next town, looking pretty bad. Do not try to wait it out to see if it'll get better. Just take your stuff, get your bug out bags, hit the road. It's better to get out early and maybe have to turn around and come back in a couple of hours than it is to wait too long and now you're stuck and you don't know what to do. Another thing to think about is where you actually live. Do you live in an urban environment that's big city, or you live right next to the city, or do you live in a rural area, out in the country, kind of away from everybody? That will be part of your decision making on whether or not you actually leave. If you are kind of out of the way, you live down a 5-mile country road, your closest neighbor's 3 miles away, you may just want to hang out. This is if it's not natural. If it's natural, like I said, if you can get out, especially if you feel like your house is kind of unsafe, you got sideswiped by a tornado, your front yard's flooded, just before it gets bad, just get out. If you live in an urban area, which is city, the city life, if it's not natural, it's something civil, sooner than later, you need to go ahead and just pack up, get a safe distance. That'll be up to you to decide how far you need to go. It's better to go sooner than it is later, because later you might not be able to get out. If you do have to bug out, and you're not just bugging out to a FEMA camp or a Red Cross shelter or whatever kind of shelter, and you having to really get out of town because something really bad's happening, you got to get away, you need to find a place that has plenty of room between you and the next people. So remember, they're teaching you stranger danger when you're in school growing up. This will apply here. You treat all strangers just like that. Try to find a place that has a possible water source. A place, there's a creek, it's up on the side of the hill. even a lake. Another video, I will show you guys how to filter the water from a lake or stream, either one, so you know that water will be good to drink and cook with. But for now, try to find a place that has a water source, even if you have to walk for a little while to get to it. Make sure that if you can, find a water source. Transportation. Getting to your bug out spot is the key thing. Okay? Now, depending on what kind of threat you're having to deal with, you'll want to park as close to your spot as possible so you can leave when you need to maybe to do whatever you need to do with your vehicle, or you need to try to conceal your vehicle, parking farther away so that people don't really know you're there. They might see your vehicle, but they don't know exactly where you are, because there will be people looking for soft targets, which means a small family group that kind of looks like they don't know the way around, and you're gonna have these people out there if it's a bad enough situation, and they will try to take advantage of you. So conceal that car, park it on the side of the road, throw some stuff on it if you possibly can. Just park kind of far away from where you're going to be. That way, if they do start trying to look for you in that area, you won't be there. You're going to be, half a mile down the road, up on the hill, somewhere that's not right there with your vehicle. If the threat is not bad enough that you feel like that you need to leave home and you're wanting to shelter in place, keep this in mind. Do you have enough land? Is it fenced in? Do you live off the beaten path where you think that you're going to be okay? These are some of the things that I would think of. Hey, am I far enough away from this situation that's happening that it's not going to make it this far? But you always got to remember, if you feel threatened, go ahead and pack up and get out. Go to your safe area. Another thing that you will want to do is gather in family or friend groups, if at all possible. I mean, some of you guys are kind of just there by yourself, maybe you and one other person in your house, and that's fine. You can manage that. But if you can, get family and friends together and you guys kind of go in a group. There's safety in numbers. Remember that. There's always going to be safety in numbers. Be able to defend yourself, okay, with whatever you see fit to defend yourself with. Remember, most people, if you just have something to defend yourself with, most aggressors will just leave you alone because they don't want to have to deal with that big fight to get what they need. They're going to go somewhere else to try to find somebody else that's not a threat to them, because that's just what people do. So remember, be able to defend yourself. Even if you think you won't use it, have it anyway, because if something happens, you'll have something there that'll back somebody off. Your family's safe. You keeping everybody safe. That's another key. You gotta keep your family safe. Last thing I want to say, and I'll go ahead and get off here and let you get back to doing what you're doing, is stay alert, stay alive. No matter how little the threat, how big the threat, it can always get worse. So just remember, you stay alert, you'll stay alive. Don't let this, what I've talked about, kind of scare you or ruffle your feathers. That's why you got your go bags. That's why you watch this video. Maybe it'll give you some good ideas. You'll feel safer, more confident to be able to manage a threat if it ever happens. Hopefully it never will. Hopefully those bug out bags will just kind of have dust on them and never get used. That's what we want, but they're there if you need them. Also, one more thing. Explore your area, wherever you live. People live in towns their whole life and have no idea where an actual water source or a good place to go is. Take time, take a day, go out and just explore your area. Go a little bit wider than you normally do. Drive down those roads that you haven't ever been on before, just looking around, and kind of pinpoint a couple of key locations that you might see and either mark it with your phone, GPS, or just, you know, mark it in your head. Hey, we can turn down this road. We'll be at the lake in 2 minutes. Or, hey, I seen a big field. There's a creek running through it. It looks like it's well off the beaten path. You know, this would be a good place to go. So just explore your area, guys. You wouldn't believe how many places there are to actually go that people just don't really know about, because, you know, nobody just goes out exploring anymore. Go out, explore your area, look for that place. When you find something you're comfortable with, just keep it in your head, mark it on your phone, however you want to do it. And that way, when it does come time, you're not looking around like, uh-oh, where do we go? Which way was the lake again? Where was that creek we saw 2 months ago? You know, just drive there, look at it, drive back again until you're familiar with that area. You can get there quick, fast, and safe. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. If you like this video, give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe, that way you can get alerts whenever I put a new video out. If you like it, just let me know. If you have any more suggestions about, you know, anything you would want to see me try to do, or, you know, help you guys out with, just let me know. I'm open to just about anything. So just let me know. All right, guys, until next time, this is Budget Survivalist. Be safe.